AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Blake Baker was a guest on Off the Bench earlier today. A few big takeaways. We'll get to that in about 15 minutes from right now. One of the gigantic retention pieces, one of the focuses, no doubt, for Lane Kiffin was getting former 5-star running back Harlem Berry back for a sophomore year. They succeeded. Harlem Berry's good enough to join us for a couple of minutes. Yo, man, how are you?
What up, Matt?
Man, another day, but a lot of people excited, as I'm sure are you. Hey, let's walk through your decision, man. Why did you decide to return to LSU?
I decided to return because, Lane Kiffin's offense is definitely something I could fit in. Talking with Coach Smith, talking with Lane, I felt a good vibe from it. And obviously staying home was something that was a big concern, and being able to do that was very, very much in the consideration.
Did you ever consider putting your name in the portal?
No, I didn't have any really considerations of doing that, but I knew it was a lot going on. But around that time, it was the bowl game, so I really wasn't even focused on the portal at the time. I was just focused on playing.
It might be a hard one to answer, Harlem, because it didn't happen. But if LSU had added Kejuan Lacey, if he had followed Lane here, might that have changed your decision?
Not necessarily, no. Before, I think, last week or a week or two ago, before he decided to return back to Ole Miss, I had already had in mind that I was going to stay. It was either going to be a good thing if he came, because we could have been a great 1-2 punch, but I definitely was not going to change my mind on what I was going to do if he came or not.
Harlem Berry's our guest. Hey, when you were being recruited, I'm guessing Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss had to be recruiting you a little bit. Did you have much of a relationship with him or Charlie Weiss during your recruitment?
Not too much. Ole Miss wasn't really in my top 5 or anything at the time. But I didn't really have too much interest in Ole Miss when I was getting recruited. So how much time have you gotten to spend with Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss since he was hired, about a month and a half ago? We definitely met a couple times since we talked, since he got there. So we definitely had some great conversations. I'm definitely ready to see, what it's going to be like going forward.
Give me your impressions, man. So this is a guy who we all see publicly on social media, right? I mean, he's like a king troll, and he's always out there on Twitter. What's it like? What's he like personally, not on Twitter?
So far, I kind of get the same vibe. Definitely a person you could come up and talk to. Definitely got that vibe from him. I haven't seen him really yet as a coach, on the field. So, but from what I've had experiences when I've talked to him, I definitely get that vibe.
When you and I spoke after you committed, one of the things we talked about a lot was playing for Coach Frank, and obviously there's a relationship there with he and your family for a really long time, and so he's not going to be back. What's that been like for you, seeing your position coach, a guy who you've known really your whole life, leave?
That definitely played a big role in if I was going to come back or not. just, considering Coach Franklin's going to stay. It's definitely going to be different with him not being there, especially with my whole recruiting. Everything with LSU was always had a big tie with Coach Frank. So just him not being there is definitely going to feel different, but, got to move on. So I wish the best for Coach.
Did he give you any advice?
Yeah, he just told me keep being the player that I've been, that he recruited, that he knows who I am, and that, if I ever need anything, he always going to be there for me.
Did he encourage you to stay at LSU?
He encouraged me to go with what my heart told me to do, and what I felt was best for myself. So,
what about your impressions of Kevin Smith, who I think a lot of people know was a great college and NFL running back, and we're kind of getting to know him now too. So, what were your impressions meeting with Coach Smith?
It was great. I get that vibe from him that that we're gonna have a great relationship. I kind of get the same coaching style like my uncle Jabbar, so I'm ready to work with him, ready to see what something different. But yeah, it's just I got a good feeling with Coach Smith.
I mean, let's talk a little bit about that running back room, man. Caden Durham put his name in the portal, decided to stay. What do you think how that's going to look in this offense with Caden Durham returning, with both of you now the two leading rushers from this year coming back?
It's going to be great. Definitely the 1-2 punch we've been talking about, me and him. So just seeing him come back was a great thing.
Have you gotten to meet the new guys, Guillory and Gainey and Jones and the other three running backs they've added via the portal?
No, I have not met them yet.
Did you watch any highlights or anything?
Not really, no.
All right. There'll be plenty of time for that when y'all hit the practice field, no doubt. Hey, man, one more for you. Just your thoughts overall. Are you paying a lot of attention to the portal class and all the players that this coaching staff has added?
Really, my friends kind of be telling me who, they'll get the notification of who comes and, who got added to the portal and who LSU picked up. So I haven't really paid too much attention to it, but I definitely get notified when somebody gets added back.
Did you get to see Husan Longstreet in maybe the 7-on-7 or the elite? I mean, you're both 5 stars in the same class. Did you ever run across him in 7-on-7 or anything like that?
Not that I remember.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see how all that continues to develop. Man, so before you go, give us a kind of an update for you personally, man. Your first semester of fall semester's done, going into the spring semester. What are you working on physically, and how's your off season been?
Physically, obviously, we're working on getting stronger. Obviously, we still got to put on some more pounds, some more weight. So just working on that, being able to run with that, being able to still be agile with that. And obviously, ball security, is my big focus in this off season.
Harlem Berry, look, man, I know there's a lot of people that were fired up to hear that you're returning for your sophomore year. Looking forward to seeing you back in the purple and gold in the fall. Continued success, man. We'll be in touch, right? Thank you for the time today.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Matt.
That's our pleasure. Harlem Berry, I'll tell you what, man, LSU prioritized making sure Harlem Berry was back, and thank goodness he is. So we told you there were 5, really 6 players that they really put an emphasis on retention. And Harlem was probably at the top of that list. I mean, defensively, it was Whit Weeks and DJ Pickett, and offensively, it was Harlem and obviously Trey Green and Braylon Moore. And then P.J. Woodland was another that they really emphasized, getting the cornerback tandem back with those 6. But you're talking about a guy with explosive potential, and you saw it, man. You saw it throughout last year in flashes. And I know we've had the conversation in the bowl game where he fumbled and then didn't touch the ball again, which feels like that just feels unforgivable, man. Yeah, as well as he was running the football, and he fumbled on his 3rd carry to not touch the ball again. Just whatever your plan or your approach was offensively, you got a guy like that, you got to put the ball in his hands, and that's probably one of the things for me that's most exciting about Harlem Berry coming back, because you can just look at the correlation with what Ole Miss's offense was with Kejuan Lacey. And you're talking about a guy like Harlem Berry with elite level skills. I was talking to Harlem's dad last week, Harry, and they were in Dallas, and Harlem was working out with a trainer over there, during his Christmas break, and getting his body right physically and getting ready for a sophomore season. And you can just see the potential because Lane Kiffin's offenses, like, I know this isn't a new thought, everybody knows this because it's just been talked about so much, but the perception is because they go fast and they throw it a ton and they have had productive passers, but he wants to run the football and have effective rushing offenses. So Kawan Lacey running for 1,500 yards this year. You could see Harlem Berry transitioning into that role in this offense in 2026. That's going to be exciting to see. What does Harlem Berry look like with 170 rushing attempts next year? Man, that's a fun thing to think about. So appreciate Harlem for a couple of minutes, man, and taking the time to be with us here. It is After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, Blake Baker was a guest on Off the Bench this morning. And interestingly enough, for all that he talked about with the defense, kind of how they have these conversations about building the roster with these players now, I thought that was maybe the most enlightening thing. If you missed it, we'll hit on some of the high points next. Stay here. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Man, I love telling you about River City's 1 hour air. They're always on time or you don't pay a dime. They've got more than double the amount of 5-star Google reviews of the next closest competitor. It's River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it out, O-N-E, 1hourbr.com for River City's 1 hour air. When they come to your house, I think one of the things a lot of people sometimes you have some apprehension whenever a contractor comes to your house because it's a lot of things that we just don't know. Like, I don't know. I couldn't fix my HVAC. I have no clue. So you want people that are coming to your house that are going to do a good job at a fair price. And at River City's 1 hour air, I love that they will never upsell you. Like, they're going to sit down with you and say, okay, here's what's going on. They'll give you the full diagnostic, and then they'll give you options for what you want to do. The good, better, best option. And you make the decision financially for what's best for you and your family. It's River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001, whether they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona. Presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
I think the biggest thing to me is going to be our depth in the front four. I think with what we've been able to do in the portal so far, it's something that we've lacked my first couple of years here. We've got a lot of guys with a lot of experience and then still super high on the guys that we currently have and the freshmen that are enrolling. I think we've got a chance to really look like LSU looked for a long, long time up front.
Blake Baker was a guest Thursday on Off the Bench with Hester and Flynn. Of course, you want to watch that full interview. You could do it on the Off the Bench, the OTB LSU YouTube channel, or you can listen to it on podcast. Just search OTB LSU. You'll get all their LSU content with the guys. Really interesting convo. And when you talk about the additions on the defensive front, it kind of maps to one of the things I was told. Remember, we're all still learning Lane Kiffin and how what his vision is to build a roster. And I'm not just talking about the number of high school players, the portal players, but where they put their emphasis. Obviously, you're going to be good at quarterback. There's a certain skill set they want. But for example, one of the things that I was told is how much they value the defensive line. We tend to think, I think just in football, well, you want to be great at corner, right? Such a passing game. You want to be great in the defensive backfield. Well, he wants to be great on the defensive line. Because if you can affect the quarterback, the perception is there are very few quarterbacks that their metrics show who can accurately deliver passes when being pressured. Now, in the NFL, that's a lot more common. You're talking about the best players in the world and what they do, right? You have to be able to deliver those sort of off balance and off the mark and off time throws. But in college football, it's very rare that you're going to run up against one of those. So if you can affect the passer, then it increases your opportunity for success. So go get guys that can affect the passer. So they go in the portal and they add Stephylan Green. They add Jalen Brown. They add Jordan Ross. They add Achilles Woods. They went and added guys on that defensive front. Malik Blockton from Auburn. Stephylan Green, Malik Blockton at Auburn give you two veteran interior players to pair with Dominic McKinley back for his junior season, who we hope has this just boom explosive year. And then, some of the young guys that are coming back, like a Brandon Brown. And then on top of that, you're adding Richard Anderson, 5-star, number 1 defensive tackle in the country. Well, now you're talking about 5 guys at tackle right there. That even though you've unfortunately lost some guys like Buddy Mathis, who played a lot for you as a freshman, it's 5 guys right there, 3 with multiple years of major college experience, and a couple of young guys that you feel like can be good rotational pieces for you. You have 5 interior players you feel good about. And then on the edge, you're getting Gabe Relaford back off of injury, but you went and added a guy like Jaylen Brown, and you added your edge pieces that Jordan Ross, who's a former 5-star, who you think are immediate impact guys. Dame Shanklin's back for another year, so you're marrying the veteran presence that you added, the portal, with the young guys you have coming back. And you could see how the numbers all of a sudden look good. You rotating 9-10 guys across that defensive front. Well, if you're that deep, then you stay fresh and you can continuously affect the passer. And so there's obviously was a focus on that. And Blake Baker told you there. But I really thought the most interesting part is, we can all talk about the on-field component of it, which is what we all want to see. But how this whole process of going through the portal cycle and visits and conversations and negotiations and all that stuff, I think is fascinating. Like, Blake Baker went through what his role is in both retention and recruiting your current roster and the portal guys.
We really just talk football. We rely on our front office with Billy Glasscock and his staff to, talk about the money. And I don't really ever want to know how much they're making, because I don't want that to influence me on who I play. And it's no different when it comes for a coach to decide if they want to pick up and leave or not. But kind of a rule of thumb, I tell guys, if they're talking about doubling your money, that's probably something that you really need to listen to. But if not, man, you got to look at what's the best situation from a development standpoint and just growing as a football player and as a man. Every time you get up and leave, you're having to learn a new system, learn new teammates, learn a bunch of new stuff. And so, like it or not, it doesn't matter who you are. It's going to slightly set you back in some ways.
I love that. What an amazing perspective to think about. I mean, maybe someone's offering you a little more money. If the money's significant enough where you're doubling it, you should go. You should look at that. But how much does it set your growth back? But the other piece of that I love is you can see how this is structuring like the NFL. And I know when I say that out loud, a lot of people can say, well, this is college. We don't want it to be the NFL. You have to put that aside. You got to take that mentality and put it on the shelf. And listen, if you want to check out from college football from January to August, I don't blame you. Like this whole thing, the portal, the roster turnover, the money, all of it, the agents, the negotiations, like this upsets a lot of people. And if you're in that number and you want to check out from college football during that period, I don't blame you. That's fine. I love this stuff. I love the business of sports. So I find all this fascinating. And I'm glad young people are getting money. I'm glad they are. So, I want there to be stability. I love that this has created equity in college football. I love that Indiana, Miami, Ole Miss, James Madison, I don't love Ole Miss, but you know what I mean. Like the fact that you have a diversity of teams and it's not just the goofballs in the room ordaining Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, the same teams every year. Give me a play. Give me this where Indiana can be good. It's fascinating. It's great that the product's never been better. But the point is, in the NFL, like a coach is never talking to his quarterback or his receiver about a contract. Agents and GMs do the negotiation. That's why they're in place. And you hope they get a deal done that makes sense for both parties. And then the coach and the player talk about football. That's how it should be. So that's what Blake Baker's saying. It's like, I'll just talk about football. Billy Glasscock and his staff do all the contracts. Great. That's how it should be. And he elaborated a bit more about like how the money would influence the depth chart.
That's why I don't want to know. I think it's human nature. I think two things. One, it's human nature if you are a coach and you know that Johnny's getting X amount amount of dollars. Like, oh gosh, we better make sure. Just like in the NFL. I mean, you guys play in the NFL. That happens a lot. The guy that gets drafted in the first round is going to get a lot more opportunities than the guy that got drafted in the 7th round. So if we can avoid that as coaches and take that out of the equation, we're going to make sure that we play the best players. And a lot of times they're compensated accordingly.
Closing on recruits is obviously paramount. Whit Weeks played a huge role. Now, remember, Whit Weeks has kind of been the guy on these quarterback visits at Sam Levitt's dinner at Supper Club. We talked about he was courtside at the basketball game. Whit's kind of been their closer, and Blake kind of talked about that.
He's been, heavily involved in this recruiting transfer portal class. The one thing about Whit and really all of our guys, man, is they just want to win. And y'all probably saw he's out to dinner with quarterbacks and people on the other side of the ball. It's because he wants what's best for LSU. So he's going to have a hell of a year next year.
Great conversation that the guys had with Blake Baker this morning. If you want to check it out, go to the OTB LSU YouTube channel or podcast, just whatever podcast app, search OTB LSU, and you'll get all their LSU content. But if you want the full interview with Blake Baker, you can get it. There's one more thing that I wanted you to hear, though, and this was from a defensive coach's perspective, Blake Baker talking about why it's so hard to defend Lane Kiffin's offense.
I think where they do an unbelievable job is really where the game's won and lost nowadays, and situational football, when you talk about third downs, red zones, and then obviously the ability to go for it on fourth down. You combine the tempo. It's very unique. Most tempo teams, I would say, are usually simple, when it comes to thematics, where they're still complex, and especially when it comes to situational football, I think they're as creative or more creative than anybody in the country.
I think self-scout with Lane Kiffin being on LSU staff is going to make LSU's defense even better. One of the things Kiffin talked about when he was introduced at LSU was learning from his dad, Monty Kiffin, Nick Saban, talking about some of the greatest defensive minds ever in the game, Pete Carroll, that he got to learn from and coach under and be a mentee under those elite defensive coaches. And so the stories kind of go that he would always go sit in the defensive staff. As an offensive guy, he wanted to sit in the defensive staff meetings to look and to observe, see what they're talking about, to kind of get in their head. Well, now you reverse engineer that when that guy's on your team, helping your defensive staff as well. Yeah. Got a lot. Look, you got to have the right players. You have to have the talent, and they're working on that, and they're paying a lot of money to have the right talent, clearly. But I feel like they got the right staff as well, not just with Kiffin at the top, but the coaching staff as well, and certainly Blake on the defensive side of the ball. So really good chat today with Blake Baker and the guys on OTB if you want to check it out. We got it linked as well at louisianasports.net if you want to check that out. Hey, we're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone, Parish Construction and Roofing. One of our gigantic initiatives here in 2026 at Parish is New Orleans. We've been in New Orleans. We do work in New Orleans. We have a physical office in New Orleans. Our partner, Joe Morales, one of our equity partners in the company, lives in River Ridge, and we're in New Orleans literally every day working. But we want to expand in New Orleans in 2026. So listen, our office here in Baton Rouge isn't going anywhere, and we service the entire state. If you're in the 504, the 985, we'd love to help you out. Roof repairs, roof replacements, free, no obligation roofing inspections. I want to remind you all the time that we do offer financing. If you're a cash pay for the roof, if insurance doesn't cover it, we can help finance the entire replacement cost of your roof. If you did get your roof bought by insurance, but you have a deductible and you need help financing the deductible, we can do that as well. The bottom line is, we're going to work with you, man. We're local people, we love the community, and we want good ethical standards in the roofing industry, which unfortunately, let's be honest, that hasn't always been the case. It's why our partner, Richard Tilley, was one of the drivers to create the Louisiana Roofing Contractors Association here in the last 12 months. So we'd love to help you out. We're local. We're not door knockers. We're not going to have unethical practices. We take pride in being here, serving the local community, and we love the opportunity to earn your business. So if it's commercial, residential, repairs, replacements, gutters, soft wash, we do it all. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing. All right, it's after further review. About a half an hour left here on this Thursday edition. Jimmy will be here in 15 minutes for Otterlocks. We will knock out a quick break. We'll do a quick portal wraparound update for the day in case maybe you're 5:30, you're driving home from work and you haven't heard. We'll get you caught up on who the visitors were, what to keep an eye on here as we move into this evening, and some gigantic news in the NFL as well that could very well have a trickle-down effect to the New Orleans Saints. We'll get to all that. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
You know, as we kind of get out of football season, a lot of people get their weekends back. You know, your weekend isn't so much just centered around the purple and gold calendar. Maybe this is a great opportunity to check out Watermark Baton Rouge. You know, there's a lot of parades and Mardi Gras balls coming up. Maybe you're going to be in downtown Baton Rouge for one of the parades or the balls or one of the events down at the River Center. Why not make a weekend out of it centered around Watermark Baton Rouge? Get a room, stay at Watermark. It's walkable to everything. It's walkable to the River Center. It's walkable to the USS Kid, to the river, to all the great restaurants and the bars and the shops and the historical sites in downtown Baton Rouge. And Watermark Baton Rouge is right in that mix as well. The original high-rise in downtown Baton Rouge, the Gregory, amazing dining experience right there in the lobby. Check it out if you never have. It's Watermark Baton Rouge, downtown Watermark Baton Rouge.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalVR.com.
All right, Jimmy will be here in about a dozen minutes for Otterlocks. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Mr. 0-3 last night. Tough scene for the Otter on college basketball. Slow start. We'll get there, though. Little breaking news as LSU wasting no time with visits opening back up today, continuing to add to their transfer portal class. Oregon tight end / H-back Zach Grace has committed to the LSU Tigers. Hayes Fawcett with the news just about 10 minutes ago. So that makes 31, if I'm not mistaken, on Ron Burgundy. We got the tracker up at LouisianaSports.net if you want to follow along. But Zach Grace committed to LSU during his visit here on Thursday. 6'3", 240, couple of years of eligibility remaining. We've said it a bunch, but they're very intentionally here following this protocol where they're taking players with multiple years of eligibility remaining. I think it is intentional, so you have guys who have played multiple years of college football with multiple years remaining. And the idea is your depth is now veteran depth instead of 18-year-old high school kids, and you have guys with multiple years of eligibility, so you're not back in this situation signing 35 guys again next season. So I think my count is right at 31. I know I'll say this again, but there's the discrepancy, I believe, if you go look at like On3 or 24/7, I don't know this definitively because I don't work at those places, but I believe they're only counting the signees once the paperwork has been signed and officially announced by LSU. Like Zach Grace, for example, has not been announced yet by LSU. He is a public commitment. But we've added him. So I believe that's number 31. I could take a second here and count them all, but we'll get to it eventually. So, but first tight end in this portal. No, I'm sorry, second tight end in this portal class, of course, because they signed Malachi Thomas from Pitt earlier in the portal class. So they're sort of rebuilding that room with Bauer Sharp out of eligibility and then Donovan Green hitting the transfer portal. You re-sign Trey'Dez Green, but Trey'Dez, of course, more of the pass-catching threat, although he wants to be attached and learn how to block. Zach Grace is a tight end H-back. This is a guy that is your physical point of attack, 6'3", 240, gonna help you in the run game as well. So Zach Grace on board. He's committed to LSU. That's fantastic news. The quick roundup from everybody else on the visit say, again, these are the ones that I was able to confirm or that had been put out there publicly. You know, the prospect put it out there. There were a slew of visitors here on Thursday. I think it's worth noting that Zach Grace was one of the visitors today, but so was his younger brother, Theo Grace. So Theo Grace is a linebacker from North Dakota, the University of North Dakota. They're the Sioux, right? The North Dakota State, or is North Dakota the Bison?
North Dakota State is the Bison.
North Dakota State is the Bison. UND, North Dakota, they're the Sioux, if I'm not mistaken. North Dakota Sioux?
I'm confirmed.
And then South Dakota State are the Jackrabbits.
South Dakota State is the
That's what it says, South Dakota State of the Jackrabbits. Anyway.
They're the Fighting Hawks. The University of North Dakota is the Fighting Hawks.
They had to change their name. Just like St. John's probably went from the Red Men to the Red Storm. They were who's the Sioux?
Is that not South? That might be South Dakota.
Let's see if South Dakota's somebody's the Sioux. Anyway, I would have sworn North Dakota was the Sioux. They weren't always the Fighting Hawks or whatever.
South Dakota is the Coyotes.
Yeah, they were the Sioux because they're ND and it interlocks like Notre Dame and they're green.
They are green, yes.
I know.
And they changed their logo, so you might be onto something.
Ask Google.
It's not the interlocking. That's what I'm doing.
Anyway, so Theo Grace was also visiting today. So Zach Grace, the tight end from Oregon, visited. He's committed. His younger brother, Theo Grace, linebacker from North Dakota, was on a visit today as well. The rest of the visitors, I have this up on my Twitter account if you want to check it out. Everyone will be pleased to know there were a couple of offensive linemen, 3 as a matter of fact, offensive linemen that I've confirmed were in Baton Rouge on Thursday. Aleo Ba, an offensive lineman from Maryland, as well as Devin Harper, the offensive lineman from Ole Miss. Harper was, of course, a one-time LSU commit, a top 100 player in the country from Calvary Baptist in Shreveport. Flipped to Ole Miss about a month before signing day last year. Was a reserve this year at Ole Miss, now is in the portal, and most people seem to think he is going to land at LSU. So Aleo Ba, Devin Harper were the offensive linemen on campus today, along with the other offensive lineman that was on campus today was Jamar Jones. Just finished his freshman year at Nichols, Rummel product. Played his freshman year at Nichols this year, hit the portal. That would seemingly be an upside take if, in fact, he did pick LSU. So we'll keep you posted on that one as well. The other visitors at LSU today, Fahim Delane, Mansour's younger brother. He was a top 100 prospect in the country in the 2025 signing class, played in 13 games this year at Ohio State. It sure sounds like he is trending toward LSU. I would not be surprised at all if Fahim Delane did end up part of this LSU transfer portal class. TJ Daugherty, 1 season of eligibility remaining, first 2 years of his career at Clemson. The last 2 years, he started every game at Ole Miss, had 98 tackles this year at Ole Miss. He at the portal. He also seemingly is trending toward LSU. I think Harper and Daugherty, the 2 Ole Miss kids, their first visits were here to LSU, and it stands to reason I think LSU feels pretty good about getting them. And then, because of course, there were a couple of wide receivers on campus today as well. Sterling Burkhalter from Wake Forest, a big 6'5" wide receiver, big-bodied wide receiver. And then Andy Jean, who started his career at Florida, transferred to Arkansas where he played this year in the portal. Andy Jean visited today. He actually put on his social media that he was visiting LSU today. So those are the ones that I know about that did, in fact, visit today. Another name worth keeping an eye on, someone we mentioned, is Mason Dossett from Baylor. He's out of Missouri City, Texas, spent the last 2 years at Baylor. As a freshman, he played safety. This year, moved to wide receiver, also runs track, runs the hurdles. I'm told that he's likely to play safety wherever he goes next, switch back to the defensive side of the ball. So a name worth keeping an eye on. I wouldn't be surprised if LSU added him as a depth piece. I do think that's one of the interesting things that I don't want to lose sight of is how very intentional they've been in building this class with guys who are not necessarily just starting caliber players, like immediate plug-and-play starters, but depth pieces with multiple years of eligibility. Like, think about Traylon James, who they added, the defensive back from who started his career at Prairie View, went to Southern. He's a big 6'3" kid, 6'3", 190, but plays defensive back, but is going to sit this year, but will have an opportunity to grow here in the system. You're talking about taking a guy like Rod Gainey, the running back from Charlotte. There's good players everywhere. And Jacoby Jones from JUCO, Jaquan Sprinkle from NC State. That's been a really interesting part of how they've Josh Jackson, the wide receiver, is a small school guy. How they've built out this this transfer portal class with a lot of guys from all different levels that are not only your frontline starters but also building depth. And I mean, these numbers are getting very, very. I mean, you're over 30 commit/signees right now for this transfer portal class. So a few of the names worth keeping an eye on, and if we find out more of them, we'll certainly pass them along. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else that I missed that I need to talk about. I know everyone's asked about Jordan Seaton, the big offensive lineman from Colorado. Publicly, he's got one visit scheduled. On 3 reported he's set to visit Texas this weekend. So there is no public announcement of a visit to LSU. So I know the internet has been asking about that, but again, there has been nothing credibly reported about a visit to LSU yet, and I have not been able to confirm that from anyone. And his first known visit is set to be to Texas this weekend. That's being reported. So if we do learn more, I fully expect that LSU is going to call, and I would love it if they got him on campus for a visit, made their push. But it is going to be really challenging when you just talk about the finances and what it will take to get a guy like Jordan Seaton. But LSU spent a hell of a lot of money. I guess it's just money, and it ain't mine. What's a few more bucks to get the best player at your biggest position of need? Okay, it is after further review. We are brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. For Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, they're the best. You got an anniversary coming up, thinking of popping the question, birthday, you need a gift that is going to thrill her. We'll thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. I love the first time I ever sat down with folks over at Lee Michaels, the first thing they said is like, their goal is they want the guy to be the hero and her to be thrilled. They want her to be able to brag and show off her beautiful piece of jewelry to all of her friends, and you be the hero. And it happens every time when you thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 9 locations all over Louisiana. Find the location nearest you. If it's Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, all over the place. You could shop them online. You can see their great selection, or just pop into the store and talk to one of their great associates. They'll greet you with a smile. They'll offer you chocolates on a tray, something cold to drink. It's an experience because it is an important experience. It is a big deal when you're buying a beautiful piece of jewelry that will be in your family, hopefully for generations passed down. And they want that experience to be there for you. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, after further review, brought to you by Decision Critical, Concierge Nursing. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks to wrap up the show when we come back. Been a really good show. If you missed Harlem Berry earlier this hour, Blake Topmeyer from USA today, last hour. We talked to Connor Morissette from USCSports.com, who covers the Trojans. We talked about Husan Longstreet last hour. So lots of good stuff. You missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Goff. You can catch it on demand. Final break. Jimmy's here for Otter Locks next.
AFR.
You know, if you're thinking about selling your home and New Year, a lot of people, their New Year's resolution is they're going to move into a new home. Or with a new year, sometimes it's a good time in the calendar when people start a new job, or if you've started a new job, kids are starting at a new school, and you move. Well, if you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. And if you're moving and looking for a home, maybe you're renting right now till you find a new home, Darren James can help. And even if you are relocating, let's say you've lived here in the Baton Rouge area, but you're relocating and you have to sell your home, but you're looking for a home in a new market too. Darren James has connections in real estate with different realtors all over the country in his network. So he can not only can he sell your home here, but he can connect you with a realtor in the market you're moving to help make that process easier. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
You. Otter, what up?
Lo siento, mi amigo.
Hey, what?
I'm sorry, my friend.
I didn't hear what you said. Lo siento. Yes.
Lo siento, mi
Lo
amigo.
siento. Yes. Sí.
So.
Cero
I said,
y tres.
He said, Charlie tells you today, haven't you learned? You threw a little jab at Moscona for betting the over instead of the under Monday night, and haven't you learned by now that they are watching you? And they still, I got my hand slapped. So the gambling gods got me last night. So
you did.
They are 0 Power 5 college basketball games tonight.
It's probably a good thing.
0.
You need to cool off. You need to cool off.
Really? Yes, it's time for a break from there. But anyway, but so we pivot our attention to the National Basketball Association. So the Detroit Pistons, 7 games above the Cavaliers in the division. They have the best record in the Eastern Conference. Remember, they were close. They were battled. We were doing Don Juan's last year for the draft show, and the Knicks and Pistons were going at it, man, watching those great games. But anyway, what they're a hungry bunch as well. And so we're going to lay a modest number, -7 at home against the Phoenix Suns. And then one more pick in the NBA, the best record in the NBA, that's Oklahoma City Thunder. They finally got their boogeyman this week. They had lost the first 3 to San Antonio, including that high-profile game on Christmas Day. So kind of that was their circle game this week. This is Houston's circle game. They're catching 4.5 at home. They are behind. They are behind the. In the Southwest, the San Antonio Spurs. That's right. They are 4 games behind, and so I think Houston's coming up with a big effort tonight. Oklahoma City just doesn't mean as much to them, so I'm going to take the points at home in the Rockets. So a little 2-pack, trying to shake things up after getting bruised. Thank you, Annie. So
Pistons and Rockets are the 2 plays tonight in the NBA. Do we have anything from Kikuchi?
Oh, we sure do.
I mean, good thing I asked.
I'm sorry.
The Gucci.
The Gucci has been on a roll. He's fading the Golden Knights, so he is taking so he's taking the opposite team there. He is taking who are the Golden Knights playing against? Maple Leaf. No, I'm sorry. He's on the Golden Knights tonight. He's on the Golden Knights tonight against Toronto.
Wait, which is it?
It's Las Vegas. He has Las Vegas tonight, -$1.30 in that area.
All right. Is that it?
And he had one other play. I can't remember. I am sorry. I don't have my notes with me. He caught me off guard.
Sharks, Capitals, Flyers, Penguins.
I'm looking at the schedule. I'm looking at the schedule right now. I just
Canucks, Jackets, the Habs, and the Sabres. It's got to be the Habs, right?
No. He always picks the damn Capitals. I would remember that one. So he came with something different. I apologize.
All right.
So,
no, if you remember it or you get it, throw it out. Text me or something. We'll throw it out.
It'll take me 2 minutes. I'll throw it your way. You can post it on the website.
All right. Thank you, Otter. We're tomorrow, Friday, Rufino's mañana.
That's the winner. That's a lock. That's a lock.
El Lock. Rufinos. Rufinos. All right,
Good
Otter.
luck, Matthew.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it. All right. Glad I asked about Kikuchi. Got to get Otter back on his game a little bit here.
I think the basketball's really throwing him off, man. Otter's not used to struggling like this with the college hoops.
I'll also point out that we did have consecutive Thursdays that were Christmas Day, New Year's Day, so we weren't here.
That's true, too.
Consecutive Thursdays. So Thursdays are when Colucci gives his picks on Live at Lunch, and so we get the NHL picks on Thursday from Colucci! But so we haven't been getting back. I got to remember now on Thursdays to make sure the Gucci is giving us those picks. It is after further review. We always appreciate Blazia and the great team over at Decision Critical, our title sponsor here on Thursdays. DecisionCriticalBR.com is the website. DecisionCriticalBR.com, not just healthcare. It's healthcare for your lifestyle. Maybe you're a man on HRT. If you need therapeutic phlebotomy, they can come to your home or office. Told you when Erica was sick over the Christmas break, They came to the house and gave her an IV. They do IV hydration therapy at your home or your office. They've come to our home before, Decision Critical has, to do blood labs on Drew, so we didn't have to take him to a lab. They came and did it in home. If it's end-of-life care, if it's bringing home a newborn and needs some help, if you're having surgery, you need post-operative recovery care, they can do it all. Whatever service in-home you may need, a nurse, the expertly trained concierge nurses at Decision Critical, they're just the best. Every nurse is handpicked by Blazia. DecisionCriticalBR.com. DecisionCriticalBR.com is the website. But remember, not just Baton Rouge. They service the entire state of Louisiana and moving into Dallas as well. So check them out online. Have that conversation. DecisionCriticalBR.com. Okay, y'all, we're getting out of here. Been a really good show. If you missed anything, AFR on demand. Oh, Otter gave me the pick. It's the Jets. Winnipeg. Winnie and the Jets. Winnipeg Jets. Oh, but you win and you won. Oh, Winnie. Oh, we got to do that. Winnie and the Jets. Has no one ever done that before? Someone's got to have done that before.
AFR.
Get on down the road. Got to remind you about the Williamson Eye Center. WilliamsonEye.com. WilliamsonEye.com. Dr. Blake Williamson and the Williamson Eye Center. They're the best. You know, one of the things people may often wonder when I tell you all the time about refractive procedures, if it's LASIK or PRK or EVO ICL, that's the implantable contact lens, EVO ICL, which is an alternative to LASIK, and it's totally reversible too. Or if it's a custom lens replacement, people have to wonder sometimes, can I afford it? I want to obliterate that objection because they have so many different ways. First of all, you wouldn't believe how affordable it is. Secondly, you wouldn't believe how many ways they have to pay. Like, they have 24-month interest-free financing available. Pay for it interest-free over 2 years. Change your life. Just start with that consultation with the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com.